Welcome back to the Old SwitchAroo, where we're talking gaming retro with Mike and Jaymo.
And I'm not Jaymo. I'm
Wait, what?
Cut. Jesus, give me your line. You have one
Thank
job,
you,
Lisa.
Chris. I
I'm
Jesus
not
know.
Mike.
Christ.
I'm Jaymo. Good thing Chris is here. Guys, we're on break from our full episodes before we start season 3. Mike couldn't be here today, but if he could, he'd be sure to remind you to subscribe or follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to make sure you're ready for when the new season starts. In this episode of the Old SwitchAroo Lite Switch, instead of our normal focus on the over 250 retro games available on the Nintendo Switch online catalog, we'll be crossing swords over Animal Crossing. In a competition to see which player has the one island to rule them all, I'll be locked in battle with one of my favorite recurring guests from the Old Switcheroo, Lisa from Geek Pop. Welcome back, Lisa. How are you feeling about today's competition?
Well, I thought I had it in the bag until I saw your island, so now I'm not sure.
I thought I had it in the
Sorry
bag
about
until I
that. I
saw
had
your
one
island.
friggin' job.
It's it's gonna be a slugfest. I'm excited. And
Yeah.
Lisa, I'm so excited because you have brought our judge for today. Would you like to introduce him?
Yes, I brought Chris from Geek Pop, and I'm pointing up because he's above me, in my view.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. Well, actually,
How
both
you
of
doing
you
today,
are, but
Chris?
that's fine.
Oh, I'm fantastic. Fantastic. Good to be
Living that dad
podcasting.
life.
Trying to, yeah. That
You
geek
and
life, sir.
Lisa, you guys created literally hundreds of episodes of the Geek Pop podcast. You had
Yeah.
over a decade of games and movies and television coverage.
Yeah.
Chris, was there a certain topic you enjoy, you remember, enjoying the most when you'd cover it?
No. There was no. I enjoyed covering movies. I liked when we had a video game to talk about. These guys didn't exactly read comic books like I did, but
Yeah.
I love when new comic book stuff came out. So I didn't really have one topic that I was super into. It was basically every week was a Candyland for us, for me anyway.
So what are you, an MCU guy, a DCEU guy? Like, where do you land on those?
In the movies,
Yeah.
clearly it's an MCU thing being the DC stuff, but I have high hopes for James Gunn. I mean, the Superman trailer, but oh my god, I shed a tear watching it.
It's amazing.
It
Absolutely
was
amazing.
really good. They the way they incorporated the old music with an electric guitar. I mean, and who didn't love the part where he's like, crypto comes on? What a good boy, saves the day. So
I don't.
I think DC has a fighting chance now. I think they're gonna get in the game and give Marvel a good run for their money. Hopefully, hopefully.
Yeah. I feel like the DC movies always felt a little more risky and a little weirder, and like they kind of have a fun flavor to them. Lisa, what about you though? I'd actually never really asked you about it. The new James Gunn Superman. Are we stoked?
Not stoked, I'd say mildly interested. I've
Yeah.
never been a fan of Superman to begin with,
Right.
but this was the first, I'd say, trailer that I've seen for a Superman movie where I went, okay, I'm interested. I'm here. I'm intrigued. I don't have high hopes for it just because DC's done so bad recently,
Yeah,
with the majority of their films. So,
I think they always
um,
had something interesting to say personally, but they weren't. I'm sorry. I know there's probably. I don't know if it's controversial to say this on the show, but Zack Snyder, I think he really biffed it. I enjoy what he tried
yeah.
to do, but I don't think it came together personally.
Yeah. But it's A for effort.
I guess like
It,
a lot of the stuff looked good, but none of the story added up for me. I just I wasn't the biggest fan. I did like his director cut of Justice League.
I
I
did
thought that was
too.
really good. I was shocked.
Yeah. 3 hour, 3.5 hour movie. You're like, how is this gonna work? Oh, he kind of landed the plane.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit! All the storylines and the things that he was going for, they all actually come together. So, but you can't have a 3 hour movie sometimes. I don't know if this studio will allow it anymore. For those big movies anyway. They got to get people in and out of the theater to watch the next show, and so I don't think the 3 hour movies make the mark anymore. But for a home viewing, man, it was great. It was really really
It's
really
fun.
great.
Well, speaking of production value, things coming together, shall we get to our travel destination for today?
Sure.
sure.
All right, so let's discuss Animal Crossing New Horizons, released for the Switch in 2019. According to Nintendo.com, escape to your personal island paradise. Escape to a deserted island and create your own paradise as you explore, create, and customize in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Your island getaway has a wealth of natural resources that can be used to craft everything from tools to creature comforts. You can hunt down insects at the crack of dawn, create your paradise throughout the day, or enjoy sunset on the beach while fishing in the ocean. The time of day and seasons match real life, unless you're Lisa and a cheater. So each day on your island is a chance to check in and find new surprises all year round. Show off your island utopia to family and friends, or pack your bags and visit theirs. Whether playing online or with others beside you, island living is even better when you can share it. Even without hopping on a flight, you can meet a cast of charming animal residents bursting with personality. Friendly faces like Tom Nook and Isabel will lend their services and happily help you grow your budding community. Escape to your island getaway, however, whenever, and wherever you want. So, guys, like a lot of gamers, this was one of my pandemic games. We would chat about it in Discord, and I think Lisa was part of that Discord. My friend group, we'd fly to
Me.
each other's islands and take advantage of good turnip prices. But this was my first introduction to the Animal Crossing series. Lisa, it was for you as well, right?
Yes, and I just would like to fix it. Didn't come out in
In
2019. It
19,
came out in
2020.
2020.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna
April
say that too.
2020.
Yeah,
well, I thought I got
But
that on
yes.
Nintendo.com. I'll double check, but I know you guys are right.
Yeah. Well, it timing.
it came out. Yeah,
It's exactly when it
everyone
came out.
remembers because it was their pandemic game, I think, because they had to stay inside. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was 2020. I was gonna say the same thing, Lisa.
Yeah. I was like, oh, excuse me.
Nerds.
This is the one thing I know.
Maybe Nintendo added that description to the website in 2019. That's how I'm going to try to save myself right now. I don't
Maybe it
know.
was
I
released in
sounds right.
Japan in 2019.
Yeah,
Ah,
I'll give you
uh,
that. Yeah, it was probably
uh,
just Japan.
that's worth a point right there. But so Chris, so this was your pandemic game. So did you play
One of
with your
yeah.
kid and
Yeah. So I mean, it was mostly me, and then I had my wife playing, and then I luckily this is the first time I was able to get all my gamer friends to play this game too, and a lot of them like Lisa had never played Animal Crossing before, so it was really fun to see all of them exploring the game that I've loved. I've loved the series since what 2022. I'm sorry, 2002, 2003. I don't remember when the first one came out, but I love
Oh
this series.
wow.
I played every incarnation of it, so it was great. It's great.
what is it about the series that has just kept you coming back?
You know, I guess it's not an instant game, right? So like, and I've yapped about this before, but in the original Animal Crossing, like let's say there's two fossils a day, right, that you find in your yard, you'd have to go to Blathers. He would take them from you, and then he would send them away to get identified. And 3 days later, your fossil would come back. Now that's not three like game days. That's 3 real days
Oh my
that you
Yeah.
had to do.
gosh.
So little things like that, and then you get weeds if you don't tend your animals or your yard, or your animal friends know you're missing, and they're like, "Where have you been, bro?" Little things like that were fun,
Mhm.
and trying to make a living by gardening, gardening, getting fruits, and doing little jobs, and like the little things. Like I'd never experienced that in a game before. The flowers, gardening, little stuff like that. It was just a really fun experience.
Yeah, I remember my first experience with something like this was a game called Shenmue on the Dreamcast. I don't know if you guys are
Yeah.
familiar with it,
Hmm.
but that
I
game,
know of it.
so it's I don't know if it's a fun game as
It's
much as
not.
it's not fun, but so immersive because every NPC you encounter in this big 3D game has a daily schedule. And if you
So
wanted,
I wouldn't say it's so much it's not fun, but it's so mundane and it's good at it. So if you
yes,
find that like and at the time, like no one had done that. Like no one had made a
no,
game where it's just like, hey man, this is like real life. People don't do
right.
shit all the time. It was kind of fun just to roll through there and try and what was it, solve your father's death or something like that.
Yeah, the stakes are a bit higher than in Animal Crossing. Your father's murdered and you're investigating it. But I love how you said that it made the mundane fun because it was a real-time clock.
Yeah.
You had to get on the bus and to go around town.
Yeah.
You could spend money on little bubble machines. You could
Yeah.
sweep your porch. And like none of that was related to the goal of the game,
No.
but but it immersed you in it to
Yes.
the point that like it felt like you're being transported when you played that game. And that's where I put this game in as well. Like you feel like there's a little life you're peeking in on.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Mhm.
that's what I loved about it. Lisa, so you put in a lot of hours. We're gonna get into your island in a minute. Um, but
Yeah.
what is it that makes that enjoyable to you? Because we said what hundreds and hundreds of hours on your Switch.
Yeah, so it was
Sorry, I'm not judging.
690 hours.
Okay.
Hey, mine's
I didn't
550.
think yeah, I didn't think it was that many, but I do forget I've been playing on and off this last year, so
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
time has been dug into it.
And so what would
Because
you say
I
the
played
secrets?
it I played it really hard for like 2 years and then kind of have flittered in and out the
Yeah.
last few. Um, but I really liked the or growing the flowers and breeding the flowers and like I was into that. I was like I started with my pansies and my lilies and I figured out how to make black lilies and so I was gifting them to everyone that was playing
You
like
were.
I
Yeah.
got this thing and I had a couple of friends like you're weird, why do you keep giving people black lilies? And I'm like because I figured out how to make them.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that with everybody.
It's a little
Weirdos. I'm
black
not the
dahlia
weirdo.
coated.
Sure,
She
but it
said
was just it was my I couldn't get black pansies, otherwise I'd give them black pansies.
she says like, oh, isn't that a weird thing? But Chris discovered mysterious handprints on her bathroom wall. So
And the funny thing about those handprints, I think everyone tried to do it too. When I first saw them, you can't make them red.
No, no, you can't. I think they're
Yeah.
just the green. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's and as you'll see on my island, it's like I do have kind of like bright, cheery things and then like dark, scary things because I think that's my personality at times, a lot of the time.
absolutely. Um,
So it's like I like throwing that kind of in there too.
and before we get started on our main content for today, I just got to get your guys' opinion. Switch 2 just recently revealed mouse con functionality. So the Joy Cons are going to function as a mouse. So are we thinking new Animal Crossing with an easier to use house customization tool? Because you pop off a Joy-Con and now you can slide your furniture around instead of using a joystick. Yeah, am I alone in that?
I mean, it could be one
Um,
application.
yeah, I I I don't disagree. I think there will be a new Animal Crossing game with it.
I
How
hope
it
so.
interacts with New Horizon, I don't know. Um, but I there's a lot of clunky parts of New Horizon that I hope they've kind of ironed out with this. Even
Elaborate.
just with us going to each other's island, the giant pauses in between, how
Oh,
you connect with people. Like I have a whole friends list, but they all don't show up in the game whether I'm friends with them or not. So, yeah, I can be friends. I was friends with people for a bit before I found out they had the game and had a hard time finding them within the game. So,
well, a
just
lot of
things
those
like that.
are ways to set up the Nintendo. So I loosely think for like checks and balances for kids. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
You have to go through hoops, so it's not as easy for I'm going to go out and say predators or anyone else to just easily access other people. I think that's what at the
Sure.
core of what Nintendo does that.
Yeah, I do think that was a part of it, but it just there's still to me was a weird clunkiness with it where I'm friends with you on Nintendo Switch
Yeah,
online. I've got your friend code,
yeah,
but we were both playing Animal Crossing and I
yeah,
would not see you in there until we became like friends in the game. And I
yeah,
had to like invite you to my island
yeah.
to finally get the game to be like, "Oh, you have a friend named Chris. Okay,
Mm.
cool. Yeah, he can come over." So,
Yeah.
but I get the child protection layer, but I'm like, I had already gone through, I assume those steps.
Right. By getting the friend code, you're like at that point, you clearly are in
Yeah.
contact with this person. So it's implying that like a predator would give the friend code, but cool it until they get in the game. Like, I don't know. But Chris, you're a dad though. It sounds like you appreciate that extra layer of security in two Nintendo games.
Any extra security in games like this, like I appreciate that they have what's the online service that you can use for not online? There's an app that you can
There's
use
an
to
app,
regulate
yeah.
like how much time a kid can be on there, and if they can even connect to the internet, you know what I mean, or share any
Mhm.
information. So all those are tools that I do utilize. So yeah, I do appreciate them.
Good on you. I'm a
Yeah,
teacher, and I wish more
I
people
think,
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've heard some of the kids' friends play the school social there. Oh yeah, you know, watch your kids because we have kindergartens and they played Mortal Kombat and stuff. So, which is crazy to me, crazy, but I've seen it. I've seen it before.
Yeah. All right. Well, so as the description mentioned, the central gameplay loop of Animal Crossing is customizing every facet of your small but fully explorable 3D island. You can
Mm.
decorate your house, you can lay down footpaths and garden spaces, you can write your own town jingle, and you can invite or banish 413 different NPCs, each with their own unique style and personality. So for this episode, Lisa and I are going to be pitting our two islands against each other in a contest we are calling Loved Islands. We each gave Chris, our impartial judge, a guided tour of the island, and he's going to score each of our tropical topias in three different categories, which will be best overall theming and island, best house, and most entertaining cast. The winner will be decided by highest overall points, and the loser will need to wear an in-game outfit chosen entirely by the winner for the month of February. So, without further ado, are you guys ready to find out whose island was the bells of the ball?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So let's kick it off with round number one. Uh, since the islands are rated out of 5 stars, Chris will be rating each category today out of 5 stars. So let's focus here on the joy pros and joy cons of each island in a category we're calling Themey C'est Quoi. So, how well is the island themed? And if there's anything you kind of appreciated about the island that doesn't fit into one of the other two categories, you can throw it into this one. Let's judge on interactivity, aesthetics, entertainment value, effort, smell. I don't know, like, whatever you want to go with that. So Chris, let's start with Lisa's Island. What
Yeah.
makes Plaka? How do you say it, Lisa?
Cacahuete,
Which is
peanut in French.
French for peanut. What was your impression of the island? What makes it a travel destination, Chris?
Um, and I am being as partial as I can be, but I have seen Lisa's Island grow from what it was to what it is, and
Yeah.
it's come a long way. I mean, let's be honest. You saw the island too. It's a five. It's a five all the way around. Like there are a couple of underdeveloped parts, but those are less apparent because you go through most of the island and you see. I mean, from the toilet garden down to the I can't remember the name of it, where she likes to sit and the see the whole island, the little bridge or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it's beautiful, and she's let the flowers kind of be everywhere, and they're not just regular flowers. They're clearly hybrid flowers that she's grown and put there. I mean, you saw her flex on the side of the island, right?
Yeah.
All the what are those? What are the flowers called?
I think they're
The
lilies.
The
Lily of
what
the
are they?
Valley, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, lily of the
She got a
valley.
whole ride. They're not even front and center. They're on the side of her thing, like, whatever. Yeah, I've got like 50 of these. Who cares?
And what he's referring to, if you haven't played the game, is that once you have achieved a 5 star island, which requires like a lot of decorations, a
Yeah.
special flower will
And
start to grow on your
fences.
island. And I think that only a couple can grow at a time, um,
One
One.
one grows every week
Yeah.
every week.
once you
And
achieve 5 stars.
so what I liked about Lisa's Island is that it's this beautiful, like kind of mountain design where you have these cascading waterfalls and you
Sure.
have these multi-layered gardens. And like Chris said, I love that the flowers are kind of the star of the show. She set up confetti blowers, so it looks like petals are blowing in
Yeah.
the breeze. And around the edge of this, tropical flower-covered island are those special flowers, each one representing a week in which her island was 5 stars. So I think it's a perfect word for it, Chris. It's a flex. It's
Yeah.
absolutely a flex.
I think and it
Um,
was such a to me like to have them not even be like important enough to be in the front or something, just on the sides, like whatever. It's just
yeah.
like, wow, okay, Lisa. Now,
And
besides
then
that, everything, all the areas were beautiful, and she's very, 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 very proud of her toilet garden, which let's be honest, it's pretty good. She has multiple toilets on the top of a pier, and it's funny because Jeremy, you and I both had the same the same thought in that there's one toilet that seems like Rick and Morty, like that episode where Rick made a pooper out in like another world in the middle of the wilderness. That's what it feels like, but beautiful, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. If you are accidentally, because Lisa, you were not inspired by that episode,
No, I was not.
but if you are accidentally evoking Rick and Morty, you get a point in my book. Like that's fantastic. And also I gotta give Lisa credit because she had little suits prepared for us to prepare for the smell of Toilet Garden. She had, welding masks and painter's overalls. Like you definitely prepared for our arrival, and I personally appreciated it.
Yeah.
And shout out to the tribute to your grandma. Do you mind explaining that? Because I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, so my grandma you lives in a forest or lives in the woods essentially, away from everybody. And the joke with our family was, she kept a clean forest. And one day my uncles were out and they actually found a giant extension cord in the forest. And so the joke is my grandma takes the vacuum out, and that extension cord was how she was able to get power out in the middle of the forest to clean it.
And so she put a vacuum cleaner just betwixt these trees, tucked away in the corner of her island. That's so cool. And I love the story attached to it. Thank you for sharing that. So I think if you're listening to this in podcast form, let's give you a couple of options to see her island. You can do the YouTube video where I'll be having footage of it spliced in. But then also, Lisa, can't we put up a dream code so anyone can
Yes.
visit our islands in dream
Yes.
form? And so,
Yes, we'll give the
regardless of
dream
how this
codes.
goes, we'll put up the dream codes and we'll have our Discord vote on which one they thought was nicer. Not unofficially, unofficially. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Listen, Black Lily. Okay, like that sounded weird. I don't know. That came out weird. So then, how about Jaymorea? Chris, do you mind chiming in on
All
what you
right.
remember about my neck of the woods?
Here's the thing, you guys might not like this. I'm gonna actually give you a 5 as well. Not
Oh,
because
That's
it
fair.
was as
No,
well
it's
manicured
so
as
neat.
Lisa's, because it wasn't. But you had wonderful, just memorable gags all around your island, which I found
Hmm.
really, 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 really delightful and clever. Clever is huge in my book. When you walk in, the whole reveal of the Michelangelo's penis with the thwomp, that was a real laugh. I actually thought that was really funny. Then you had like there's a and one I thought was really cool. Via perspective, you put a chainsaw behind the stump, so it looked like the chainsaw was cutting into the stump. I'm like, that's really fucking cool. And then the Statue of Liberty with the helicopter, that was also very cool. So you had a lot of, I mean, there's more, but you had a lot of really cool stuff, little stuff like that. So it made it like the cool factor. Sorry to say this, Lisa, was a little higher. You know what I mean?
ah,
Hmm. No,
Again,
fair.
you did not have as many. I don't feel like some of your areas weren't as well thought out compared to Lisa. Not in
sure.
general, but compared to Lisa. Which when you guys are watching this and you go and see Lisa on, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. You got some really cool stuff though. The movie theater and everything. Like I really enjoyed your island. I you played it down. You played it down perfectly. I was like, oh
Hmm.
man, this guy's gonna have a garbage place, and it wasn't. And then you
Hmm.
got Lisa with the outhouse and the corp. I believe they're corporalites, fossils because they look like giant poops. So that was another fun gag. Like that, honestly, all the
Yeah.
stuff, the gags worked for me. Almost every one of them landed.
Yes.
Thank
Me
you.
too.
And
I know
listen,
I'm not judging, but it worked for me too.
I'm glad it made you smile. And listen, if you're my student, remember, you found this podcast on your own, okay? But what they're referring to is that the Michelangelo's David is a very famous anatomically correct sculpture. And so when you walk into my island, I set up a thwomp. So at first it's blocking him as if it's like, censoring it. And then the thwomp falls and reveals him in all his glory.
Right. Well,
Very
I mean,
cool.
it's a priceless piece of art. I think it can be appreciated on multiple levels.
That's right. You know what? We used to do field trips to
Hmm.
the Getty, and there's nude sculptures. So you know
Yeah.
what? Come at me. Actually, don't. Please don't.
This isn't explicit. This is very,
No,
it's David.
yes.
This isn't a children's game as it is. We're okay.
Absolutely.
Although your
Um,
fuck oranges booth might be a little much.
out of anger, not
Yeah.
Fight.
Spite.
That
So
good
yeah,
old penny
you
arcade
got
over here.
a really really good island, well thought out parts that just the gags are great,
Thank
really
you.
great.
I really appreciate
Mhm.
that. Okay, so Lisa and I both score a 5 for our themed islands. So let's go on to category number 2. I gotta consider this the wild card category because it's to some degree outside of our control. But we want Chris to rate
Sure.
the cast of characters because such a big part of this game. If you haven't played Animal Crossing, over 400 NPCs, but they all I think are adorable and weird and quirky. And their dialogue, I think, is doesn't get enough credit because like the programming of this game, the controls, everything is perfect. It's just an endorphin machine.
Sure.
I just playing this again to prepare for this episode, I got lost in it. And before I knew it, an hour had passed. The game just feels perfect, but the dialogue of the NPCs, it's just brief enough that you feel like you had a real conversation, but just, or excuse me, just long enough that you feel like you had a real conversation, but just brief enough that you never really, like, I don't talk to a lot of villagers in RPGs, or if I do, it's just to get an item. I genuinely enjoy interacting with the NPCs in this game. Do you guys?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, I do, especially since the characters I have in my islands are some of my favorites. So
Yeah.
I'm
What,
trying to
what,
look up. I don't remember who
Okay.
everyone on these islands. So can you give me a quick refresher?
oh yeah,
Yes, I
so
have. You ran
go ahead.
into Pango,
Tango,
Alice,
Alice,
Cobb,
Astrid,
um,
Astrid,
Wolfgang,
Wolfgang.
Astrid. Yeah, you went into Astrid's house. Cherry. I don't think you ran into Rodeo, but he's there and he's moving today. Um, so
No, well,
it's
I
not
think you
all
guys
of
gave me
them. Oh,
the
Huck.
villagers Huck,
Yeah.
which is fun because he remembered me. I remember you gave me the pad with all the villagers you guys had.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the
So
screen real briefly so everyone can see it.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So these are Lisa's villagers.
Hmm.
Oh, I
It's
don't
they're
think you guys
cute.
ran into Carmen.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely love Cobb's style. So he says a gym bro because he seemed very buttoned up and proper.
Yes. Oh gosh, he only talks about the gym and crunches and abs and protein powder. I have two gym bros on my island.
And
So I
and we
get to
should
hear a lot about
mention
it.
something kind of cool. So those who haven't played the game before, your NPCs can travel, so they can go and move to the island of someone on like your friend list if they've visited before. So we're pretty sure that your little frog named Huck came from Chris's island back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know Cherry came from someone else's island who I know. And I
Okay,
think
so
I had a horse named Colton. I think he moved to someone's house that or someone's island that I know.
oh, Colton. No, I was gonna make a
Of
joke.
course.
But I was like, yeah, he terrorized my island for years, but no, I
That's
love the
okay.
name Colton. In fact, one of my cooler students was named Colton. Um, so then pretty good, pretty good. Do you want to give it a score now, Chris, or do you want to see my villagers?
I have the scores in my head, but go ahead and let's see your villagers first.
Okay, so
Because
then
I remember most of yours.
okay.
That might be
So
telling.
my villagers were Hamlet the hamster, Cube the penguin, who has like those dead eyes. Like some of the villagers have like they're I guess they're blind. Is that supposed to
Mhm.
be blind? The little
No,
crosses?
no. If they were
No,
no, no way.
I don't think
I
Um,
think
so.
I think it's just a style choice. Anyway,
yeah, Fuchsia the sheep? What is Fuchsia?
a deer, I
A
think.
deer.
I
Oh
think she's
yeah.
a deer. Or
Doe.
deer.
Flurry the hamster, Klaus the koala, Chino the not a goat. Ibex? Is she an ibex?
Um,
That feels
she's a
Maybe.
right.
goat. Velma.
No, Shino.
Oh shit. I think she's an antelope. Deer.
Antelope.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Kabuki the cat with the E Honda face paint.
Mhm.
Francine the like toy bunny, and then Sylvia. Is the kangaroo villagers have children? Do they have names?
No, not that I'm
Okay,
aware of.
so they're not
Besides
they're not
Joey.
real.
Joey. Yeah.
Oh, I guess clever, Lisa. It's clever. So just kind of shooting off the cuff here, Chris. What would your scores be for each of our little cast of characters here?
Um, So you have two villagers who even I have in mind. So I'm gonna be a little biased here because I enjoy them a lot. Now I think I told you guys earlier, I didn't say it on air, but I collect interesting villagers. Is
Yeah.
that so? You have Graham on here, which is just a little hamster. You got a pink doe, but Kabuki's got this wonderfully painted face, right? It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And Shino, she's like this beautiful doe with horns. I have both them on my island, and I love having them there. They're aesthetically pleasing in their house, and they're just kind of fun to have around. Having said all that, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a five because
Okay.
overall, like those are some fun characters. I even liked the little penguin that you give the hat, the little what was the eggshell hat.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm actually a fan of Francine. I've been meaning to get Francine, and she has a not a twin, but she has like a counterpart that is pink with white polka dots. I don't know if you've seen her.
Yeah.
No.
I
Okay.
have.
So I just kind of thought that was you have some really fun villagers that I would want to have in mind. Now, Lisa, I mean,
It's all good.
yeah, I mean, I'll be generous and give you a four because they're mostly kind of villages I think are a little on the boring side for the most part. Not totally boring, but they're fun. I like Cobb and what
Yeah.
was the other one you had that I liked? Oh, I'm a
Cherry?
Cherry fan. That's why you got so high. Cherry has been my
Yeah.
friend for like most of the Animal Crossing that I played. I always have her on my island. She just kind of chills out. So because you have Cherry, you didn't get a three.
My
Oof.
gosh. Well,
Yeah.
can I just
No.
say I'm a fan of Wolfgang, the really handsome wolf with like the sweater vest or whatever. Like he's a
Well,
class
Yeah.
act.
the other one I
He's
thought
new.
The other one I thought was
I've
neat was Astrid. She was on your island, right? The
Yeah.
kangaroo with the star.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
Very cool. And also Rodeo. Like, is he a bull?
Yeah, he's leaving my
Yeah.
island, so if you want him, you can come talk to him afterwards.
Ah, who do I want to kick out? All right. Well, very exciting. So JMO pulls ahead by one, but it's still anyone's game, which brings us to our final category, house and home, in which we're going to ask Chris to rate. I can do this. Rate and rank our two houses. So let's start off with the capital of Cacahuete, which is Lisa's home. What do you remember about her house, Chris?
Let's see. Her shower in the her shower in
In
the
the
kitchen.
kitchen.
Yeah, I remember that. And I'm gonna be honest with you. She and I didn't know any of this. Like I didn't know I haven't been to Lisa's house in a very long time, so I can honestly say that it
Mhm.
was almost all surprise. I really enjoyed the podcast area upstairs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, we're all podcasters here, so I was like, oh, I like that a lot. What was your downstairs again?
It was the Sanrio
It
stuff.
was
Yeah, the
Sanrio.
Hello Kitty
All
room.
Sanrio.
It
Yeah.
was cute. It was cute. And I don't remember what was your side room.
It was the bathroom, wasn't
That
it?
was like the little forest
Yes,
mossy
yes,
room.
yes. I enjoyed
Yeah.
that one a lot. That was the one with the evil handprints on. I'm like, oh my god, this is
Yeah.
really charming. And then I spun around. I'm like, oh man, she got like horror handprints on the wall. But even in lieu of that, like that was really, really, really a really cool room. So I really enjoyed that a lot. And your 4A, what do you want to call it? Your front room?
Front room, yeah.
Okay, that was that's like your home. That seemed like something you would have and you would decorate, which I feel is the same thing with Jeremy almost. Like you guys both kind of did like that front room is like your actual way you decorate
Yeah.
Yeah,
something. Well
kind
done.
of.
It felt lived
Yeah.
in, but if I can just say something about Lisa's house, it's like every room was just immaculately themed. Like I almost felt like I caught like the scent of like incense when I walked into her main room.
No, Jeremy. You are a million percent forgetting about that bullshit back room she had that couldn't. I don't even know what was the theme you're going for. You had like Chinese
I
furniture with a pearl bed and like I don't know what you were doing.
in Oasis, yeah, no, that room is a bunch of ideas that don't go together and don't work. That room does not work, and I don't know what I want to change it to. So
Okay.
Well, we
so
have
it
to
just
give credit
stays
though
there.
the wall of you collected a picture of every village who's ever visited, and so you have this awesome like legacy of your whole island on
Yeah.
up
Well,
on the wall.
all but one. I
Yeah,
I let one villager go before I knew about the photos.
you'll get it back
Who
one
was
day,
it?
right? Like,
Maybe. It was a pink monkey. I think his name's Rocket.
Do you care? Do you feel like it's like your rosebud, like you messed up and you probably should have got it and you're never gonna get it again?
A little.
little
But
bit of
I
regret.
kind of like having the white whale. It was before I knew, and I wasn't. He was like, "I want to go," and I was like, "Yeah, that's great. Go visit places." And it was like, "Okay, I'm leaving." And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. And you told him to,
And exactly, I said, "Go, just
yeah, good
leave."
idea, bro.
All right, so
Yeah.
Chris, you
Yeah.
you you were pretty brutal to Lisa there, so don't let me off easy. I know there's some things about
Just
my
for
house.
one room on Lisa's
Yeah.
part. So, she's still gonna get. Do we allowed to give half points?
Sure, you're the judge.
Okay, so I'm gonna give her a 4.5,
Four and a
just because
half.
that one room. It's almost like literally a point for each room, right?
Yeah, sure.
So we'll
That's
go with
fair.
that. I'm gonna say 4.5.
All right. Did you say four and a half?
4.5.
Yeah.
Four and a half. Okay. So that puts Lisa to a 13.5. So
Basically,
JMO,
if she fixed that room, it'd be a 5.
so that puts me, I'm gonna
Yeah.
need a four to win. No, excuse
Sounds
me,
right.
a five to win,
5 to win.
right? Because I've got 10. No, I need four to win.
You need 4 to win.
I need four to win. So don't go easy on me, Chris. Tell me about my house.
Um. So I enjoyed your house.
Uh-oh.
It was definitely not as elaborate as Lisa's.
No.
I felt your Gyred room could have been more.
Yeah.
And
Uh-oh.
I did like where you were trying to go with the fish downstairs. That was clever. You're below the ocean, and you threw some things in there. But I feel like you just kind of tossed them in there. Although I did enjoy that when we walked in, you had the giant sunfish, and we all found out like if we try to walk around it with our camera, the sunfish follows you. That
Yeah.
was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Um,
You're right, though. Like my
the
attic and basement, everything's thrown in there. Like literally. Just
and it felt like that a little bit. No, absolutely no offense. I hate saying it like that. And I don't know what I was expecting when you said Firefly Room. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. It was literally
whoa.
fireflies with the server room wall. So I was like, okay, that's cool, but it's not as cool. Maybe in my own head, I thought it was gonna be cooler.
Yeah, because I built it up as a server room powered by Firefly, so you're thinking like machinery or something, and it's literally just you can't even walk in the room. It's just a bunch of fireflies.
You walk in the room, it's just a bunch of captured fireflies on the ground with the server wall, which I'm like, damn, that would have been. And to be fair, it sparked my own ideas now. So I'm like, maybe I could do something with that idea, with that theme. So I'll have to
I
revisit that in my own head.
I think you could redo that room and put the servers in, and then if you have the happy home, because I think you can make your own sprites if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Oh.
Make like a firefly like sprite and then put it on like I did the butterflies. And I
You
think that would hit what Chris and I were thinking when you said you had a
Mm.
server room full of
you
fireflies.
100% can, but it is it's only a sprite, so it's
Yeah.
it's like a two
Okay, so it's
dimensional.
just like one. Okay,
No,
yeah.
no,
All right.
it'd be multiples,
Oh,
but it's just a plane. You know what I mean? It's a 2D
yeah,
image.
no, it's not like the little
Yeah,
dot, the little bright green,
yeah.
somewhat 3D
There's
dot.
no
Yeah.
dimension to it, right? But
All
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
that's neither here nor there. And I really feel like I'm being nitpicky, but at this point, you kind of have to be because you guys did have really good stuff. Now, none of this is to detract from how you actually went about it. It was still your house was nice. You know what I mean? Probably nicer than
But
mine. Like I feel like mine is very thrown together and doesn't have very many themes. At least you had the sense to think it all out.
but I mean, you mentioned that you have a kid. Your kid played this, and they would always like mess stuff up. So like, I'm just gonna like let them do what they want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I mean, not my house, just the whole outside. Like at one point, I think I told you that they found out that you could get fair rides and Ferris wheels and stuff like that. So there was a whole area with nothing but that, just dropped randomly. So I let her do what she was gonna do. Not in my house though. She didn't live in my house. She had her own house.
so it's the moment of truth. You said two of my rooms disappointed you. So give me a score, Chris. Give me an honest score. I'm ready for it.
Closer to 3 rooms, I gave you a 3. I was gonna give you a 3.5. I'm like, you need to work on
That
those 3
means
rooms.
final score for Jaymorea, 13 out of 15. Final score for Cacahuete, 13.5. Lisa takes it.
It
And
legitimately was way closer than I think you realized, because you blew
Yeah.
me away with what you actually had. You really
I'm not
did.
mad.
Hmm.
I'm not mad. The moment I saw Lisa's Island, I was like,
Yeah.
I was worried it wouldn't be close. So,
Dude,
that is going to wrap up our first ever Loved Islands competition. Lisa, you are officially the champion. So, I believe it looks like you have switched into the outfit I'm going to wear for the month of February.
Yep. Y-
Okay.
I'm in it.
So, I am going to be cosplaying as a hot dog.
Yes, you've got orange wooden clogs,
Beautiful.
silly white socks, a hot dog body and hat with the, I'm gonna say, Jim Bro glasses, as well as a fancy little sash. I think it
and
says something about prom, but
he
we'll
gets a
just
he gets a
have,
pipe too, right?
yeah, you can have a pipe too. I can get you one.
You know what? I appreciate that even the glasses have a mustard and ketchup kind of vibe to it.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
not mad at this. You'll want to see what you avoided.
Yes.
Yes.
So by half a point, Lisa does not have to dress as a poop.
Poop poop movie. Wow, that's pretty bad.
Com complete with a
Oh wait.
dripping nose.
Oh, it's not here. I forgot to put it on, but there's also like little supposed to be like little food on your face. So I'll
Oh,
send you that
beautiful.
too.
Thank you for including that.
Yeah, so because I realized with your drippy nose that we were missing the food marks on the face.
Of course, you got to get the food marks on the face.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
would have just scored a half a point higher, you guys both would have had to wear the costumes.
It would have been a
Yeah,
tie.
tie.
Yeah.
Well, there you
I
have it,
did think
folks.
about the poop hat.
But
I was like,
yeah, and
maybe I
you
should
like
give him
the
a poop hat.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no
Too late.
changes, no changes. I want to be the
No,
hot
no,
dog.
no, I'm not. No, I'm not changing it. But I did
I
think
can
about
send
it.
you just for funsies the poop hat.
I
But
have a gold poop hat.
see, you don't need mine. But I was really excited putting together the punishment outfit, and I like, oh my gosh, I have an outfit that's just a brown towel.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah,
really kind of went for a Mr. Hanky kind of vibe.
yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. The winner of the Old Switcheroo's very first Love Island competition. It was a close match, but this is what I'll be sporting for the month of February. Congratulations, Lisa. I don't know about you guys. I think this has been NE excellent. Chris, so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being our judge today. And Lisa, it was just so great to have you back. Before we get out of here, Chris, would you remind our listeners and Lisa too, where they can get the get their Geek Pop?
Go ahead, Lise.
All right. So you can
It's
go to
been a while for me. Yeah.
geekpoppodcast.wordpress.com. That's our official site. You can also visit us on Facebook. That's where we're most active. We do have an Instagram, but again, we're not as active there. So I mean, if you're still using Facebook, go to
You can
Facebook.
also listen to iTunes. I don't think we're on the Google Play Store anymore. Yeah, I don't really
I
remember.
don't think the Google Play Store really is a thing anymore. We're not
No,
quite on Spotify, but if
iTunes.
when we get out
iTunes.
of our hiatus, we
Yeah.
will be working on that.
Totally on
And
iTunes.
is the Facebook feed still going? Because that was a fun scroll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
very
update
cool.
that almost daily. So we're still active on there. We're keeping the Geek Pop name alive. We just haven't been able to record lately. I haven't been able to record lately.
And I will just add, I feel like there's a lot of competition for like, your nerd feed. But what I like about the Geek Pop feed is that is just enough commentary and then the content. So I feel like it's this really zippy scroll through, and before you know it, it'll be like
Thank you for pointing that out, because I try not to get too into too much my own bias in the stuff. If I do have an opinion, I'm like, well, I'm not sure about this. It probably is the general consensus. But yeah, I try to just give people a little bit, maybe a little bit of my thought, but not enough to influence.
there's a thing called economy of words, and I think you nail it. Like
Oh, thank
and
you,
I think
sir.
And I can tell you put some effort into it. So check it out, everybody. Until next time, remember to like, follow, or subscribe to the Old Switcheroo and rate or review the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also visit www.theoldswitcharoo.com to find all our social media links. And we'd love to hear what you thought of this episode or what you're hoping to hear in future episodes. Also, be sure to join our Discord where you can talk games, play games, and even make a friend or two. Join us next time for another Light Switch episode where Mike and I are going to be talking about games we're playing as we are ready to kick off season 3. And as always, thanks for listening to the Old Switcheroo, where we've been talking gaming retro with Mike and Jaymo.
And I'm not Mike.
But I'm
Hey,
Jaymo.
she got it right.
Game
Can't think
on,
about that.
everyone.